Hello all. So today I'm talking about a Dodge with the P0339 code, what it is and how you go about fixing it. So what is a Dodge P0339 code? Well, it's a crankshaft position sensor intermittent. And what does this mean? Well, the onboard computer uses the crankshaft position sensor to know the location of the crankshaft as it spins. It uses this for timing, and it's seen error inside this circuit, so it's going to have to be troubleshooted to know why. And the main causes is going to be either the sensor or in the wiring, and so both have to be looked at to know the cause. And in most Dodges, there's only a single crankshaft position sensor, but in newer ones there can be two, so you have to keep that in mind. You're going to have to Google it to find out the exact location, since it can vary depending on the engine type and the year. And most people would go ahead and just swap out the sensor, since it's a low-cost part. And then if it didn't work, then they troubleshoot the wiring. But the wiring is not difficult to troubleshoot either. And basically what's going on with the wiring is in the older ones they had 2 wires, and in newer ones they could have 4. So you're going to have to get the schematics for your particular engine to know for sure what's going on. But by far the most common is 3-wire. But what's going on with like this one is like the middle wire is going to be a ground, and then one of the outer wires is always going to have voltage. It could be 5 volts, 8 volts, 12 volts. It'll be going back to the battery. So it'll be constant voltage that powers the whole plug. And then the third wire on the outside is going to be the signal wire that goes back to the onboard computer and sends a signal every single time there's a piece of metal in front of the sensor. And so what a lot of mechanics will do is they'll take the plug off, they'll plug it into a known good sensor, they'll come in the back, they'll go from the middle wire to the signal wire, and they'll put a piece of metal in front of the sensor, and it should go from like 5 to 0 volts. If it does, they know the whole circuit's good, and they'll swap out the sensor. If it doesn't, they know there's a problem inside of the circuit. And there's some YouTube videos on that if you wanted to check that out. And one thing to mention is you're not getting no power to this plug, then there very likely is a blown fuse. You should be getting constant voltage too here to power the whole circuit. If you're not getting no voltage at all, then look for a blown fuse. It's usually located inside the engine compartment. Sometimes it can be up underneath the dash. It just varies. It depends on the vehicle. But keep in mind there could be a blown fuse or an open inside the wire going back to the fuse box. And the fuse itself is a low-cost part. It's not very expensive. They usually run like 15, 20, 40, 50 bucks. There's one for 86. But they're not like super high-cost parts or nothing. The main thing when swapping one of these out is going to be its location. Sometimes they can be easy, like this one, it's on the side. So that would be an easy one. You would just pop out the harness, pop off the bolt, pop in the new one, put the bolt back in and the harness back on, you'd be done. But sometimes they could be more difficult. They could be underneath other components. They could be behind something or just hard to reach. It really varies on the Dodge and the engine type. So you'll have to Google that and find it on your vehicle to see how hard they are to swap out. So what do you do if you have a Dodge with the P0339 code? Well, first thing to do, Google where the position sensor is on your particular engine and year of Dodge. Keep in mind there can be 2. Find the sensor, check out the wiring, be sure the wiring's good, be sure there's no blown fuse. If that all looks good, then go ahead and replace the sensor or sensors, and that should be it. And so that's basically it. I just want to give a real quick brief overview of how you go about fixing a Dodge with the P0339 code. If you have anything to add, please comment down below. If you have any questions, ask me and I'll try to answer them. If this video helps you, please click like, please click subscribe, and have a good day.